Alagir Lingappa, Assistant Professor in Physics, Government Postgrad College, Sirguppa. Today, my topic is mechanical properties of materials. So, the study of elasticity of the materials. Then, what are the mechanical properties of a materials? To finalize the material for an engineering product or applications, it is important to understand the mechanical properties of the material. So, for an engineering product or engineering applications, we must need to study the mechanical properties of the materials. Based on the mechanical properties of the materials, you can able to select the suitable material for a suitable purpose. The mechanical properties of a material are those which affect the mechanical strength and ability of a material to be molded in a suitable shape. Here given some of the typical mechanical properties of a material. So, strength of the material, toughness of the material, hardness, hardenability, brittleness, malleability, ductility, creep and slip, resilience and fatigue. So these are the some of the mechanical properties. So we need for the study of these properties for various engineering products or applications. So now we have studied about the properties such as elasticity. So this is a very important property for engineering products or engineering applications. So previous class we discussed about what is elasticity, then what is stress, different types of stress, strain, different types of strain, then modulus of elasticity, Young's modulus, bulk modulus, rigidity modulus, and a stress strain graph, and so on. So elasticity means the ability of a deformed material body to return to its original shape and size when the forces causing the deformation are removed. A body with this ability is said to behave elastically. So what we know that in our universe, the matter which can be classified into three types: a liquid state of matter, gaseous state of matter, and then the solid state of matter. So further, the solids they can be classified into three types: rigid bodies, elastic bodies, and then the plastic bodies. Here, rigid bodies are those which do not change their shape and size after the action of the even under the action of huge amount of force, external force. So rock, iron, they are the examples for rigid bodies. Elastic bodies are those which regain their original shape and size after the removal of the applied the external forces. Example steel, aluminium, rubber, wood. So they are the examples for elastic bodies. So plastic bodies are those which does not regain their original shape and size when the forces causing the deformation are removed. Example plastics and then the polymers. So the property of rigidity, the property of elasticity, the property of plasticity. So the solids that can exhibit three types of properties. Based on those properties, so called the solids, they can be classified into three types. So rigid bodies, elastic bodies, and then plastic bodies. In our nature, that means in the universe, no body is a perfectly rigid body, no body is a perfectly plastic body, no body is perfectly elastic body. So now let us discuss about elasticity. So ability of a deformed material body to return to its original shape and size when the forces causing their deformation are removed. A body with this ability is said to behave elastically. Example, steel, aluminium, rubber, wood, crystals, etc. So elasticity is the tendency of solid materials to return to their original shape after being forces are applied on them removed. When the forces are removed, the object will return to its initial shape and size if the material is elastic, if it exhibits the property of elasticity. In other words, the deformation disappears after a removal of external forces. So steel cables, rubber bands, springs are the examples of the elastic materials. So then what is stress? It is a restoring force per unit area. When the external forces acting on a body, say elastic body, then the forces which are generated inside the body opposite to that of the external applied force. Such a force is called a restoring force. A stress means it is the restoring force per unit area. Its SI unit is Newton per meter square. So usually the stress which can be measured in terms of external applied force, because under the equilibrium condition the restoring force that must be equal to the external applied force. Then a strain, it is a ratio of a change in dimension to the original dimension. Again we have different types of stress, different types of strain. All they are discussed in the previous class. Then what is elastic limit? Is the maximum stress from which an elastic body will recover its original state after the removal of the deforming forces. So the maximum force up to which the body exhibits the property of elasticity is known as elastic limit. So beyond that elastic limit, The body which loses its property of elasticity, which exhibit the property of plasticity, which gets a permanent elongation, a permanent deformation, which do not regain its original shape and size after even the upward force is removed. So, elastic limit is the maximum stress from which an elastic body will recover its original state after the removal of the deforming forces. So, it differs widely for different materials. It is very high for a substance like steel and low for a substance like lead. So, elastic limit is different for different materials. So, now you see this diagram for elastic body. So, stress strain graph. Stress will be taken along y-axis, strain will be taken along x-axis. Then we will get a straight line up to the elastic limit. So then, where E that indicates a ratio slope of the line. The slope of the line, so called slope, which is equal to stress per strain. Where stress by strain, that gives modulus of elasticity, so called up to the elastic limit, the material which obeys Hooke's law. That means within the elastic limits, a stress is directly proportional to strain. Then the removing proportionality put a constant, so called E. Then E is equal to stress by strain, where E is known as modulus of elasticity or coefficient of elasticity. So that means here the straight line which indicates that there must be a linear relation between stress and strain. Limits of elasticity. As I mentioned, limits of proportionality are just beyond this point. The material can behave in a non-linear elastic manner until the elastic limit is reached. If the applied force is large, it is found that material becomes plastic and no longer returns to its original length when the force is removed. In short, the value of force up to and within which the deformation entirely disappears on a removal of the force is called limit of elasticity. So both are same. Elastic limit is nothing but limit of elasticity. So limits proportionality. So just behind this point, the material can behave in a non-linear elastic manner until the elastic limit is reached. So called elastic limit. It is a limit up to which stress is directly proportional to strain, and then where obeys Hooke's law. Up to that point, the body which exhibit a elastic property, beyond that elastic limit, where the body which loses its elastic property, then which exhibits the property of plasticity. So now you see the stress strain diagram. So here as stress increases, the strain is also increases linearly up to certain point, so called such a point is known as yield point. Up to yield point, the line is straight line, where the straight line that indicates that there must be linear relation between stress and strain. At the point so-called yield point, where up to that the body which exhibit the property of elasticity. So behind that, where a body which does not regain its original shape and size. So gradually the body which loses its property of elasticity, which exhibit the property of plasticity. So that means that a region is called a strain hardening. So further as stress increases, now you see the ultimate strength. Ultimate strength means it is a strength, that means the stress up to which the body exhibits certain elastic property. After that ultimate strength, the body which completely loses its elastic property. So behind that ultimate strength, body which purely exhibit the property of plasticity. So where after that ultimate strength, the body which gets increases in its length, even no load is applied to that, so called necking. And the finally which reaches the fracture stress, where at that point the body which breaks up. So this is what about the graph which indicates, which gave an idea about the behavior of the material when we plot a graph, a stress versus strain. So elastic deformation, say proportionality or proportional limit. What we see, yield point. So up to that, where there must be a linear relation between stress and strain. That means stress is directly proportional to strain. Proportional limit, it is a point up to which Hooke's law is applicable. That is, stress is directly proportional to strain. Elastic limit, it is a point up to which the elastic material obtains its original shape and size on a removal of applied force. Then yield point, the stress behind which the material becomes plastic. Load at which permanent deformation materials starts, so called yield point. Plastic deformation, so called ductile point. Behind this point, material acquires a plastic nature. Then ultimate point, the point at which material can withstand maximum load and ultimate strength with maximum elongation. Here ductile point means behind this point material acquires plastic nature. Ultimate point, so called the point at which the material can withstand a maximum load and ultimate strength with a maximum elongation. Then what is the point of fracture? the stress which makes the material failure or break, so called point of fracture. So now let us discuss about factors affecting elasticity. The material will have change in their elastic property because of the following factors: effect of stress, effect of annealing, effect of temperature. So first we have discussed about effect of stress. For large number of cycles of stresses, it loses its elastic property even within the elastic limits. Therefore, the working stress on the material should be kept lower than the ultimate tensile strength and the safety factor. If it under large number of cycle of stresses, if the external forces are applied continuously and periodically, then it loses its elastic property even within the elastic limits. So that the working stress on the material should be kept lower than the ultimate tensile strength and the safety factor. So second one, the effect of annealing. Annealing made to material, it results in the formation of large crystal grains, which ultimately reduces the elastic property of the material. Here annealing means annealing which made to a material, it results in the formation of large crystal grains. In case of large crystal grains, so that means reduces the elastic property of the material, so called effect of annealing. So then effect of temperature. Normally elasticity increases with a decrease in temperature and vice versa. That means the elasticity which depend on temperature of the material. As the temperature increases, the property of elasticity goes on decreases. So called elasticity is inversely proportional to a temperature of the material. The elastic property of lead increases when the temperature decreased. The carbon filament becomes a plastic at a higher temperature. So called the effect of temperature on the elastic property. Then fourth one, effect of impurities. If suppose some impurities, if they are added to the pure materials, then what happens? It's a property of elasticity. The addition of impurities produces variation in the elastic property of the materials. Maybe increases or maybe decreases, so that means which depend on which type of material is added to it. So that means that depend upon the nature of the adding material, adding impurities. We are given an example. When potassium is added with gold, the elastic property of the gold increases. So that means the elastic property of the gold that depend upon the nature of the potassium, the type of impurity added to the gold. So similarly, another example here given, when a carbon is added to a molten iron, the elastic property of the molten iron decreases. What I said. So the elastic property of the material which depend on the type of the material or impurity added to it. When potassium is added to the gold, then its elastic property increases. When carbon is added to molten iron, then its elastic property decreases. So-called effect of impurities. Then the fifth factor, effect of nature of the crystal. The elasticity is also depend upon the types of crystals, whether it is a single crystal or a polycrystal. For a single crystal, elasticity is more, and for a polycrystal, elasticity is less. So-called, where the elasticity which depend upon the nature of the crystal. So the study of elastic behavior of material is of much importance. Almost every engineering design requires knowledge of the elastic behavior of the materials. In the construction of various structures like bridges, columns, pillars, beams, etc., knowledge of the elasticity of the materials used in the construction is of prime importance. So, the property of elasticity, the study of mechanical property, so-called elasticity of the material, which is more important for engineering design. That means the engineering design which requires knowledge about the elastic property or behavior of the materials. So, in the construction of various structures, we must require the knowledge about elastic properties of the materials. In case of construction of bridges, in case of construction of columns, or construction of pillars and then the beams, etc. Here are some of the examples are given where we must need or require the elastic property of the material. So while constructing a bridge, a load of traffic that it can withstand should be adequately measured beforehand. What we use, the materials in the case of construction of bridge, we must need the property of, we must need for the study of the properties of those materials. They can that means a load of traffic that it can withstand should be adequately measured. So before the construction of bridge. So while constructing a crane used to lift loads, then where the crane which can be constructed with the help of the property of elasticity. It is kept in mind that the extension of the rope does not exceed the elastic limit of the rope. If suppose the load applied to the rope, if it exceeds certain limit, then the rope which breaks up. So that means you must need idea about how much load which can be lifted with the help of that rope. So-called engineering design. We must need to study the elastic properties of the rope. So similarly, the springs are used in the automatic industry for various parts such as a vehicle suspension system, chassis, automotive valves, clutches and gear shifters. So what we use these springs in case of the automatic industry, various parts, so such as vehicle suspension system, chassis, automotive valves, clutches and gear shifters. Where we must need what about the elastic properties of the spring. The engineering design, the selection of the materials, where the material of the springs, they can be selected based on their elastic properties, based on their mechanical properties. And then, so medical equipments used in the medical immobilization devices, hospital beds, several dental applications, wheelchairs, a lift and many more. So what are the equipments we have used in the medical system, in the medical field? So immobilization and devices, there are hospital beds, several dental applications, then a wheelchair, lifts and many more. All they can be constructed based on their elastic behavior of the materials. That means the study of elastic behavior of the materials were required for manufacture of hospital beds, several dental applications, then a wheelchair, lifts and many more. And also they are used different types of door ends. So these are some of the applications, some of the engineering products, some of the engineering applications. They must need for the study of mechanical property of the materials, so-called elastic property of the materials. So in this class, we studied about the mechanical properties of the materials, list of the mechanical properties of the materials, then elasticity, then the concept of elasticity, then elastic limit, then Hooke's law, stress versus strain graph, then yield point, then the ultimate strength, then a fracture, then applications of elasticity, and so on. Thank you.